Today's guest is president of DNA Creative and founder and creator of an award-winning financial literacy program, Mark DePippa. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Faith. Glad to be here.
So this award-winning financial literacy program is the Sensibles. Tell our audience about the Sensibles. How did it come to be? Let's start there.
The Sensibles are 6 superheroes that teach kids about money. So my background is I own an advertising agency, and for most of my career, I promoted TV shows and kids programs. And the last 15 years of my agency, we started getting into financial services. So I combined my education of entertainment and finance and sort of combined them into a multimedia initiative called the Sensibles.
Now, tell me about the characters.
Well, there's 6 superheroes that work in the Bank of Cincinnati. So we have a bull and a bear, a turtle and a rabbit, a bull. I said bull already. A rabbit and a duck. So they're all named for famous presidents or famous people on money, like Grant and Jackson. And
Oh, a little subliminal education there.
yes, absolutely.
Now, why did you pick comic books? I mean, comic books are great. Is there a big influx with graphic novels and you saw an opportunity, or was it specific because of an age range?
Well, our age range is 6 to 12, and
Okay.
we use the concept of edutainment or educating through entertainment. So we found the best way to teach kids about a difficult subject like money was through entertainment. So we thought comic books. So I don't know if you can remember the last math lesson you received in elementary school, or one of your favorite cartoons. Kids learn through entertainment. So we're trying to teach a difficult subject using these superhero characters.
So interesting. Now, do you have just one comic book, or is this a series?
It's a series of 13 episodes. So we actually started
Episodes. Okay.
the comic books first, and then by sheer luck, we found out that a 20-page comic book translated very nicely into a half-hour TV series. So since my background was TV syndication, we created 13 episodes. That's the model for TV. So 13 times 4 is basically a full year of programming.
Oh,
So
excellent.
we repeat. So we have 13 episodes now. We're currently working on season 2, but that's about a year away.
Okay. Yes, those things take time. Now, why did you choose the age range of 6 to 12? That's a pretty wide age range.
Cambridge University did a study, and they found that kids as young as age 7 start to make financial decisions. So we felt it was an important age to start elementary school.
Now, other than entertainment, what are the things that you're seeing are resonating with kids that can allow them to absorb big money concepts?
Well, I think also the advent of technology too. Everything is multimedia. So in addition to our comic books, we have an interactive website. We have a free mobile app called Sensibles Dash for Cash that teaches kids about money. We have short video clips. You know, people don't like to read, but the short video clips are now more common on YouTube and things like that. But having the comic books is important, especially for 6 to 12-year-olds. And even the 6 to 7-year-olds when they're learning to read, because the parents can read the comics with them as well as give them a valuable lesson about money.
Oh, yes. It's always a great idea to rope the parents into the process. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to be able to gift a child with resources and allow them to take it and do with it what they may, but to have a parent come alongside, or the people that raise the children come alongside them, can really give that extra oomph to their education or their ability to absorb the information. Now, where did this passion come from? I mean, was it you saw this creative marketing opportunity with kids and finances since you had already been in the finance space? Or was there something in your life that prompted you to take this avenue?
Well, a couple of things. So personally, I grew up, I would say, middle class. You know, my father was a mechanic, and you know, we struggled a little bit with money. And you know, I happened to go to high school in an area where there was a wealthy neighborhood that fed into the same high school. So I saw what other people had with means, and I got envious. So, but in terms of creating this program, it's almost like the Reese's peanut butter cup. You're combining peanut butter and chocolate. Well, I combined finance with entertainment and made the Sensibles package.
And now I'm hungry. Thank you, Mark. Now, I love that you combined the entertainment with it, and whatever way we can get information to be absorbed. Songs are a great way too. Now, this has been out for a while, right?
We've been working on this for over 15 years. We started selling to banks and credit unions at trade shows and conferences, and then most recently, we're now licensing our program to financial advisors. And then after all this, we just launched last month a consumer direct program called Be Sensible Smart, or bcs-kids.com. This is where parents can order our material directly without having to go through their bank or credit union to license it.
Oh yes, improving the accessibility. Now, it does make sense to go through banks and advisors. These are people that serve families. So getting it in their hands makes sense as a distribution model, but why not schools?
We've tried. I think schools don't have room in the curriculum or money or resources to even train teachers in this subject. I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent about what you learn in school, but everyone graduates from high school and are clueless, including myself. I had to learn this on my own. So perfect example is I have 3 children who are in their 20s now, and when they were born, we started putting birthday and holiday money into an online brokerage account, and now in their mid-20s they have a sizable portfolio. I helped them with the decisions that they didn't know, but it's the power of compounding, the power of owning equities. You can start by putting money into a savings account. We had some bonds when they were born and christened and things like that, and we cashed them in and put them in the stock market, and it's amazing how money grows. But it really has to start with the parents. You're not going to get this education in school.
It's true. Now, for the parents that may either feel intimidated by these money conversations and not really knowing where to start with their kids, it may also be intimidating to open a brokerage account when they may not know too much about it. What kind of advice do you have for parents to get started?
Well, I think the old Google search helps. I mean, there's so many online resources that you can find if you just Google learning about money or finance, and a lot of these online brokerages have short videos. You can go to YouTube and there's podcasts out there. If you really need the information, it's very simple to find it. It's just that no one's going to hand it to you. You have to take it.
I think sometimes it would also be hard to even know what to search for. So getting started can be really intimidating. When you have built these comic books and the TV series, have you received any feedback from families or even kids?
Yeah, when our TV series first went on the air, I used to get fan mail from both parents and their kids, which was very encouraging. So this was 100% self-financed. I didn't get any grants or loans. I took my own personal money and put my resources and my advertising agency's resources into developing this on my own. So my mentality was, if you build it, they will come. So, we're getting close. We have, several dozen banks and credit unions and financial advisors licensing it. We're optimistic that our consumer direct program, BeSensibleSmart.com or BCS-Kids, will really resonate.
Now, what are your money conversations like at home? I know that your kids are now grown, but what were they like growing up? Did you introduce money concepts early on? I know that they had the money to put away.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. I launched this over 15 years ago, so they were 7, 8, 9 years old. So they were my in-house focus group. So when we were developing
Wonderful.
and even the character development, we would show them to the kids, and it was a perfect focus group to have young kids at the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Conversations are, we'll watch CNBC, when they're home, and we'll talk about stocks. My sons are actually both CPAs right now. They're 27 years old, and they asked me for advice on their 401k. So as a matter of fact, just this past weekend, they were home for the Memorial Day, and we we went through their portfolio and made some adjustments. And, my client base is financial services, so I'm constantly informed with CNBC, Fox Business, other financial websites. So I have I guess, a built-in knowledge of this. And I'm no expert, but if you do your research and you start early, the power of compounding and the power of owning equities is remarkable.
And I can see how the information really built on itself as they aged, because there's not a lot of 20-year-olds that will even inquire about their 401k. It's the thing that you do later and you need to get around to it kind of list.
Yeah, and also my three kids, I said, when you start your jobs, put the maximum allowed amount in your 401ks, and if you have trouble making your rent payment, I will help you. I really believe that. It's more important to have your money grow over the next 30, 40 years for them than to worry about scraping together an extra, $50 or $100 for rent. So thankfully, they haven't asked me for rent help yet, but they're still maxing out their 401ks.
That's fantastic. What else do you think needs to be done in the efforts of financial literacy for all of us advocates? What other kind of work needs to be done to really further this effort?
Well, we're part of the Jumpstart Coalition for Personal Financial Literacy, and my advertising agency does pro bono work. So I've known these people. They're in Washington, D.C. It's a nonprofit to promote financial literacy in the country. They have 50 state leaders. And in the last 15 years, it's amazing. We went from no high schools offering a financial literacy class to now I think 17 states require one class in financial literacy in high school, which is scratching the surface. But organizations like Jumpstart, I think, PTA groups, parents, a groundswell. Hopefully with our Consumer Direct program, parents will get it, and the word will spread. So it's tough. I don't know why it's not in curriculums right now, but that's another subject altogether.
So true. Now, I think the idea of getting it into high schools is that they're closer to having a job and needing to face some of these financial decisions. But you have targeted a very young age group. What about the between ages from 12 all the way to high school? Do you see any movement with financial literacy efforts in that department?
Well, not so much in schools, but our programs have websites and curriculum for teenagers too. So as they grow, they'll learn more difficult subjects. It's at the basic level when you're 6 or 7, you can talk about wants and needs and things like that. They may not understand compound interest, but as a child gets into their teenage years and they have more math based education, we can introduce more things like compounding and stock markets and equities and things like that. So our curriculum grows as the child grows.
Do you see as much engagement in those teenage years as you do with the younger age group?
I don't actually. Yeah, there's a gap. I think we jump from early on to high school, and then even colleges. I mean, unless you're a business major, right? I don't remember seeing any college curriculum on how to take care of your own finances. It's oddly ignored in society.
It is, when money is something that we all touch.
Yes, unreal. And it's a lifelong process. I mean, I'm constantly reading books and watching TV shows and podcasts to better improve my portfolio. I have, financial advisors and accountants and life insurance agents that I deal with regularly. Laws change, tax laws in particular. You need to be up on all these things.
Well, you say that when, as parents, we often are juggling so many things, so how do we encourage parents to take notice of finances when they're juggling insane schedules? How do we encourage them to say, you know what, it's also time now to take up a little bit of your time, learning a little bit more about finances, just one thing? What kind of encouragement do you have to offer these parents?
Well, like I said, it's got to be self-directed. You're not going to get really much help out there. So, I learned the hard way, right? I'm I guess, pretty successful now, but I struggled my whole life with money and finance. So you have to have that passion inside to really learn about something. It's like anything, right? If you want to learn a sport, maybe you take lessons or you practice harder. So money is a sport, right? You need to practice at it in order to get better.
True. And, I'm always reminded that it's not about the money, it's about what the money can do for us. So I think having a clear vision of what we want our life to look like can help bring clarity to where we want to spend our time in learning about money, whether it be just learning how to budget, or could be the 401k, could be understanding more about taxes. But that intrinsic motivation will probably come from our ability to create a vision for what kind of life we want to live. Now, I thank you so much, Mark, for your insight and perspective today.
Oh, my pleasure, Kate.
Saving at the bank or credit union earns you money called interest. Then your interest earns money too, called compound interest. And that's super. Open your interest earning savings account today. You'd be nuts not to.